want me to go high, so I'm finna go high. They want me to go far. I'm your boy Mike B. Thank you for listening to Chicago Unhinged, and I got a very special guest. This has been in the making for what about a nice little few weeks. From the local Bulls fan YouTube channel, Alejandro. Got that right, bro?
Perfect. Perfect. Nice.
How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. I'm so excited to be on here. Thank you for having me on your channel. Thank you for reaching out and everything. Means a lot.
Appreciate it. I got into your channel a few months ago. Just been dropping in a lot of Bulls YouTube content creators, and I'm trying to work with everybody. I like Chicago Bulls, and if I can watch somebody else do the exact same thing that I'm doing, and that's producing great content, I'm all for it.
Nice. Same here. I like
So
love your videos. I love like you don't just do Bulls, you do like the Bears and stuff. I'm trying to like get into more sports, so it's definitely like great to pick up on that because I'm familiar with it, but not like as much as like you yourself are or somebody
yeah.
else doing it.
Yeah, I love doing the Bulls. Of course, I love the Bears, and sometimes I like to talk about just sports in general. So that's why I made a secondary channel just to talk about things outside of Chicago because at times it can get very very frustrated. Watching our Chicago teams in general just act like they not at the top of their league. They act like they just not a marquee franchise.
True. Very, very true.
So before we get into today's episode, I got a few questions for you just to get to know you. What made you one question? What made you start getting into the whole YouTube thing, and what made you become a Chicago Bulls fan and follow the Bulls and wanna
Mhm. Ooh, I think it was like 2 years ago. I was like, I would like watch like ESPN on YouTube and stuff, but then I'm like, I want to hear about the Bulls, so I would like go. I think one time like someone's page pop up. I think it was I don't know, Chicago Bulls Central Hayes.
yeah, Hayes,
His
yeah.
channel he popped up, and I
Shout
was
out to
just like,
Hayes.
Hayes. Oh, he's like would produce so much. I would listen to it daily. I think I think like Bull Central too, that one. I was just so like amazed that I'm like, oh, you could just put this online. So I'll just listen to it. Then I'll have like my own ideas like, oh, they should say this. I'm like, this is a good subject. But they wouldn't like talk about it. And I'm like, I'm not about to like tell someone what to say. Like I should just like try to
Yeah,
start my own thing. And then like getting into the Chicago sports was always like I'm born and raised in Chicago, and my dad would always like have all the games on. I wasn't big into sports as a kid, but then as I got older, I just loved the competitiveness, everything about it. And then the Bulls obviously have Derrick Rose and Noah. Basketball was like one of the few sports I could actually like play because I was always smaller as a kid, and like football, I got like crushed all the time. But then like basketball, I'm like, all right, I could play this, and it was just I was hooked from there.
hey, that's how it was. Growing up, I was small myself, so basketball was like my go-to sport that I can play. And I actually thought I was pretty good. I was good at football, but I was too scared to to play football. And plus, I didn't want to wear all the equipment, and I didn't know how that would work. Playing football that way. And as far as the content creation, I agree with you. I got a few content creators that I watch Chicago Central, one of those Hayes, and of course Pat the Designer, I watch him.
Oh yeah.
And then the newer Chicago creators like my boys over there at Shop Podcast, Bobby and C Dub. There's a lot of other in your channel as well. There's a
Mhm.
lot of newer channels that I listen to as well, as far as like the older channels that been a while for a good little minute. So anytime I'm bored, I just search for Chicago Bulls, and any different creator I see, I just watch just to hear their take on the situation, just to see different people with opinions. So,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
first topic of the day we're gonna get into is a bunch of rumors. First one, it's not a rumor, is the Bulls go out and sign the new shooting coach, Peter Patton. What's your thoughts about this signing?
I think like it's great because then he's fine. Like we finally have a shooting coach. We have a bunch of like players that are can specialize like defensively but aren't there offensively yet. But this would be able to really like stretch the floor and be able to develop our own shooters. I know. I think in Casey Johnson's tweet, I think he was mentored by OKC's shooting coach, and I think he was on the Spurs for a little bit, being able to like, help them develop. So I think this is a great move, especially like I think he's from Chicago as well.
Yeah.
So overall, just whoever they try to draft, whoever they bring in, even let's say Demar, he finally finds his 3 point shot.
Yeah, I agree. I like this move for a lot of reasons because you kind of see AK has a type that he just go for guys that got offensive potential, but it's that jump shot is they're lacking. That's the step that they need to take as far as becoming a full two-way player. The defense is always there, like we've seen in Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu, Dalen Terry. Like that defense is there, but can we get that shooting to match? And I think with a shooting coach can really help those guys tap into that potential to become great two-way players that this team desperately needed. As far as DeMar DeRozan, I think DeMar is a finished product.
Oh yeah,
Uh, his game is his game. I don't see him taking five threes a game. I think you may get, two threes a game out of DeMar DeRozan. But as far as him lighting the three, I don't see it happening. So I think this is really for like the young guys and whoever they may bring in this upcoming draft. Because we, like I said, AK got a type. It's the guys that can't shoot, but they can play some defense.
true, true. Yeah, Lamar's definitely done. Lamar's he's not stepping out to the 3 point line. But I definitely see it with the type. I think he's like, especially with this draft having wings, a bunch of wings are like his type. I could see him trying to get into the draft
Yeah.
perfectly, like getting the shooting coach for all of them and everything.
And even on the two-way market where you can get some undrafted players for the G League, like we seen last year. What's the guy name who was out for the year? I really liked him. God, what's his name?
Justin Lewis.
Justin Lewis. I liked him. I hope he's a part of the rotation this upcoming season. So I think AK always doing his due diligence with guys on the undrafted market as well. So it could probably help those guys out too.
True, I definitely see it. Like Carly Jones, even Marco.
Yeah.
Marco might be able to get some minutes if he.
I don't know. It's been 3 years now. I don't know about Marco. I'm giving up on Marco. Not now. I'm not giving up on him as a player, but I'm giving up on him playing for the Chicago Bulls. It just seemed like Billy D did not like Marco for some reason. They want to play him. We could have used that.
Yeah, I'm right
So
with you. I'm like he hasn't. It's been 3 years, like you said. It is what it is. He wasn't played, even though at times we needed the size. Like even just to see how he would be in the NBA.
yeah, just to get a good look at him playing NBA minutes. I know the defense is not that great, but look at Vooch. His defense not that great as well, and I think they got similar skill set. It was like plenty of times when we needed rebounds. I feel like Marco, maybe could have added some energy. He can stretch the floor. It's different things Marco can bring to a team, and I feel like we just waited 3 years just to see something. We haven't really seen anything.
Hmm.
So, now let's get into these rumors. We got Nikola Vucevic possibly getting a 3-year deal from the Chicago Bulls. What's your thoughts about that? Should this deal be longer than 2 years, or do you think 3 years is like where you would cut things off?
I think 3 years is that sweet spot right there because you have to bring him back. So it's able to like. I think they able to. Let's say there's a deal that they can't pass up. You're able to trade him without having to wait. But at the same time, like you still hold on to him because his game isn't built on athleticism. So I don't see him like having this major regression as like some people might think. Because like, you see guys like DeAndre Jordan immediately start to regress because they're just. I prefer centers that like go do what like DeAndre Jordan did, just like grabbing the rebounds, blocking shots like that. But they only can last so long if they don't
Yeah,
able. They're not able to stretch the floor, the footwork, and like the passing ability.
yeah. I think three is probably that sweet spot where I be like, okay, I'm okay with it. And also depending on how much money it is. I think if it's under 22 per year, I think that's reasonable. Anything over 22 is just like I don't know because we all know he's gonna decline as in like production. Um, but I think one thing he will continue to do is like you said, stretch the floor. I think he can be a nice 15 to 20 points per game and give you 10 rebounds. My only issue is if I lock him into a 3-year deal, will I get the same results I got last year where at times where Vooch is cooking and guys just getting away? It's like I feel like that's wasting his talent if you're not going to run offense to Vooch at times where he's the high hand. And we've seen plenty of times that DeMar and Zach got away from where Vooch can have 12 points in the first half, then second half come, and then Vooch walk away with like 4 points.
That always confused me too. I'm like, why got so much to bring him? We should be able to like use him more. For he has a hot hand, he has a hot hand. Who cares like what is going on? I never understood that. And like for them to like obviously AK sees this, and for him to want to bring him back, but like you're gonna bring him back, not for him just not to be utilized is kind of like it's questionable as well. Not saying for him to like walk, but it's definitely like there's a lot more concerns too about like, all right, you bring him back, so are you gonna finally let him play and do his thing?
Yeah, so that's like my main concern with it. Is like if we pay him 3 years just for him to, not really get used to his full potential. So that's where it come to me where it's like Vooch or Demar. Like I feel like if you really want to make change, one of the two gotta go. I can't see a world where the big three is back again. Because if you want to make changes, if you bring the big three back and sign everybody else, what changes are you really making? You have no room to make any kind of moves. So
Exactly. Like obviously, like Demar's like the first choice like move because for one, it's like he's your like he's they're gonna bring you more, so you're gonna want to move him to be able to like all right, Vooch can finally get more touches because he was brought in to be that second option, and then you have to reside him, and they just there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's
a-
just
and you gave up more to get Vooch.
that is true too.
So, and we've seen Zach and Vooch play together before. They got DeMar DeRozan. And I think there was a nice 1-2 punch. Vooch can set the pick and all that good stuff. But they was on the verge of making the play until Zach went out. So I like the small simple stats what I saw between Zach and Vooch in their first year together before they got DeMar DeRozan. So I think they can continue to be successful going
Hmm.
forward. So the next guy we're gonna talk about is Patrick Williams. Potentially can get a 5-year, $100 million deal.
That
Uh,
one's like when you first hear like the 100 million, it's just insane because the Bulls don't usually give out contracts like that. But I'm not against it whatsoever. It reminds me of like DeAndre Hunter, like Mikal Bridges, those guys getting that contract, and I've always like compared Patrick Williams to them. So I could see it's very reasonable, especially with the salary cap going up. But at the same time, I would want his usage to go up as well to match that.
yeah,
Because like
agree.
regardless of like how much he's making, how much it is now with the salary cap, he still should like the usage needs to match it anyway. Getting like more plays ran for him, simple things like that.
Yeah. Like I said, I forgot who I was talking to. I feel like this. If say, let's say in the world that this contract is signed by Patrick Williams, I think this contract could be a blessing and a curse. And what I mean by that, I think if you get Patrick Williams to sign this deal before he, let's say he take a huge jump, he already on this contract similar to what Zach Levine was. Now, let's say 2 years from now, he's balling out. He pretty much being underpaid, and now you can build a great team around him on this cheap deal. Like you said, the salary cap going to go up. $20 million, a year bench players making that in today's game, you know. So it's like that's half of what Zach is getting paid right now. So I think it could be a blessing and a curse if we can get Patrick Williams to make that huge jump. And that's I'm cool with him taking that. But like you said, I still want to see the production go up.
I like the way you put it. That's so perfect. Just talking about like a blessing and a curse. Because let's say he does take this huge lump, huge jump, a two-way everything. You know, you're able to have more money to build around him. But then if like he doesn't, it's just like taking up that cap space.
Yeah.
But I definitely like see it more in the positive light, just because he hasn't. Although he hasn't shown much as a fourth overall pick, it's still he hasn't shown anything like negative in the sense where you're concerned if he's just not going to produce at all.
Yeah, and I like another example is similar to Kawhi Leonard with the Spurs, where he was on that cheap deal and when they was on a little run.
Mhm.
But I seen great things from Patrick Williams. The only two negative thing I would say about him is one, I do want him to be more aggressive,
Oh
to
yeah,
go get his shots. And two, it's the rebounds. I think he should be averaging at least 7 rebounds per game. I don't. There's no way in hell he's not grabbing, boards. In today's game at that fourth position. So those are two negative things I can say about Patrick Williams. Everything else, I appreciate most like about this game. I feel like the handles got better. The shot, of course, got better. You can see he's learning the NBA game this season. That's why I like from Patrick Williams. You can tell that he's learning, and I think it's time to get some more plays around him. Put the ball in his hand more. Let's see what he can do because you'll never know unless you give him the opportunity to make those plays.
exactly. Like he's gonna have to like make mistakes in order to learn from it. He's gonna need the ball in his hands, and it's not like a taboo thing for him to make plays. Not and like for Zach and Demar to not make the plays. Because if you look at other teams, you even have the Celtics. They have like Al Horford bringing up the ball. The Clippers, they have Batum. Like you definitely see, like, you don't really need your stars to always make the play and always have the play be ran for them.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes I hate Billy Donovan because like sometimes let these young guys cook. How else they going to learn unless they go out and make mistakes? Like you see all these teams like Boston, I forgot it was a playoff game. They let Derek White go off. They just like he had the high hand. They just like we gonna run this offense through you. And at times you will see Kobe White having a great game, man. Just like Billy Donovan take the ball out of his hand, or Patrick Williams can get in his groove. Just like all right, I need Demar to get back into his groove. Like no, just let these young guys continue to cook, and then let Demar fit in around them. That's
Hmm.
how you win ball games. That's how you build role players get confidence. Just perfect example, the Miami Heat. Even though they're not doing it now in the finals, but look how they got there because they trusted those guys to make the right plays. It was times where Jimmy was just letting them cook, and then fourth quarter come, it's Jimmy time.
Exactly. Like they had like Duncan Robinson put up so many DMPs throughout the regular season, and then he comes in and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna drop 10 points in the fourth quarter." Like you need to trust your role guys too to be able to do that.
Yes, and that's my biggest problem with Billy Donovan.
Same. I've never. I'm okay with him coming back like next season and not being like I'm gonna like chill with the fire Billy Donovan thing just because he was able to have the defense be pretty solid when you have like your three best players not be like defensive oriented.
Yeah.
But like the offense, man, it's just like you gotta let these young guys try to cook, even if like it's crazy. Like for example, Io gets like the minutes starting and whatnot, but at the same time, he's not given like the leeway to do so. He just brings the ball up, then dishes it to Zach or Demar, and waits for them to do something.
Yeah, it's like they're playing on a leash. Like the leash can only go so far with them before they it get yanked and you sit next to Billy Donovan.
Exactly.